This is usually a 2-day process, but I forgot to start last night, so I'm gonna try to squeeze it all out today. The bread has to rest for like 8 hours before we start really forming it and baking it. So it's gonna be ready like 7 or 8 o'clock. It's gonna be a late night loaf. Now that the sponge is made, we let it sit for 8 hours and then we'll do the rest later. I made the sponge or the biga for the focaccia bread yesterday. I didn't actually finish off the bread yesterday, so I'm gonna do that now. There's the sponge. Basically, we're gonna add more flour, water, and yeast, and then we'll proceed with the next steps.
It's booger time. Do you want to tell people what's next?
Yeah, for the bread.
I have no idea. Mandy does the next thing.
The next step is to add salt. We do not have plain salt. I'm sure you guys have realized that by now. So we're gonna use an herb salt blend that my friend Marlene made for me. And I think Donna helped. Do you want to tell them the next thing we do?
Step 3. Do whatever Mandy says.
Are you gonna do it, or?
No.
I feel like you never follow step 3. The next few steps are to wait 30 minutes and then fold the bread 8 times each time. So I think we have to do that 3 different times. So it's about like an hour and a half until the bread can be formed, put in the pan to let rise before baking. So now we wait. It's phone time.
I'm reading.
The bread has rested for half an hour. And now it's time to fold it. I use a rubber spatula and a little bit of cooking spray, and then we just kind of like fold it 8 times. Oh man, I don't know if that even time-lapsed. I'll show you on the next round. It's time to do the second round of folding for the bread. This time I'll time-lapse it. It's time for the third folding of the bread. And then we'll do one more half-hour rest, and then we can form it and let it rise. Something that people don't talk about in van life is tiny freezers and how the ice builds up.
Should we talk about how the ice builds up?
Yeah, do you want it?
So when water gets really cold, it actually goes through a phase change into a solid from a liquid, and it turns into a thing called ice.
Oh, it's finally time to form the bread. Usually you like put it on a flour counter or whatever, but I don't really think that's necessary. So I usually just go straight from the bowl to the pan. First, we have to put some olive oil and salt in the pan. It's very key. Basically, I just coat the dough with olive oil and I put a little bit of salt in the pan. And then we just kind of roughly form it and then let it sit so it'll loosen up and expand, and then we can shape it to the pan. And the bread. I think it's time to pop it in the oven. First, I'm gonna preheat it. You're supposed to like preheat at 500 and then turn it down to 450 when you put the bread in, but our oven only goes to 450. I've made this bread before in this oven. It comes out fine, so I'm just gonna preheat it for a little bit. It's hard to see in there, but you can see it's rising up nicely, and hopefully it's gonna be tasty when it's done. This is what Loki does most of his day. So when the bread is halfway through baking, we just rotate it around to get it cooked evenly. Guys, the bread is done. It just came out. And we have some hungry people ready to eat it. There you go.